Good morning, Villa fans, and welcome to a special edition. Basically, Aston Villa have bought two of Europe's hottest prospects, you would say, in Yasin Ozcan in the picture above and Zepi Redmond in the picture below. Both been confirmed sort of yesterday, really, coming through. I think the Ozcan deal was in the pipeline since February. I think everything had been agreed. Stayed at Casimapa for the end of their season and has now made the move across to Aston Villa. 19 years of age, centre-back. We've also signed Zepi Redmond, who's just won the under-19s youth tournament with Holland and played a big part in that as well. He's made the move to Villa as well. So Villa have just landed two 19-year-old players who potentially could go on to be really, really good players for Villa in their careers. So I wanted to take a closer look at kind of both players and just give you some information that you might not know already about both of them. So if you take a look at Yasin Ozcan, first of all, 19-year-old centre-back, left-footed. So you know that Unai Emery likes to balance and likes to get a left-footed centre-back on the left-hand side and a right-footed centre-back on the right-hand side. He definitely gives you that. And from what I've seen of him, and this is only from kind of YouTube reels, I can't profess to be a Turkish league fan and watching all the games, but from watching his highlight reels on YouTube, he looks like a baller, as I mentioned here. Very, very comfortable on the ball, bringing it out of play. Not even just a little bit, but actually driving out of defence with the ball on occasions. I think Casimapa have played like sometimes a back three, which has allowed him a bit more space and freedom to kind of get forward and get involved in the play. But he looks very, very accomplished on the ball. Not only that, he's 19 years of age. He's very, very robust, very strong. There's not many players in the Turkish league anyway that were able to, barge him off the ball. When he was going up against 50-50 shoulder barges, he was always coming out on top. Doesn't like to dive into challenges, which is obviously a very good thing for a defender. Likes to stay on his feet and win challenges. Great timing of the tackle is what I would say from this guy. Sometimes even comes from nowhere and throws his body on the line. Manages to hook the ball, around and win the ball cleanly. So I think he's got huge potential. Just a calmness on his head. And the fact that, looking at this stat was crazy. He's 19 years of age. He broke into the Casimapa first team at 16. He's already got 100 appearances in his career at 19, playing in the top league of top league in Turkey, which is, a very good kind of standard, a European standard. It's not like a Bulgarian standard league or things like that. The Turkish league is a challenging kind of environment to learn. And he's got 100 appearances. He's got 6 goals, 4 assists, picked up 15 yellow cards in those 100 appearances as well. 6 foot tall. And as I mentioned, very, very comfortable on the ball. Apparently the fee that we paid for this guy is 7 million, could rise to 8 million, depending on what happens, in terms of bonuses and his, what he does for going forward. He's just got his first Turkish cap as well in June. So he's now a fully international Turkish international. We've also got a 20% sell-on clause with Casimapa as well. So they obviously see a lot of potential in this guy, and he's going to probably be one of the future stars of Turkish football. And to sign him at this age, I think, even though he's young, I don't think he's going to be one that's going to play in the U21s. I think he is going to be training with the first team. It wouldn't surprise me if he got some games in the first team. It also wouldn't surprise me if he went out on loan to a championship side straight away, just to get used to the physicality of the English kind of leagues. And the team that stands out to me that could take him is someone like Hull City. I know that they're in negotiations with Louis Barry at the moment. They've obviously got a Turkish owner as well. So there's a link there, perhaps, that he could go to Hull City on loan. Wouldn't be surprised if that did happen, just to give him a year and a season just to get used to the physicality. Because, even though looks like he can, stand up for himself, physicality levels between the Turkish league and the English league, especially the championships, where there's a lot of sort of rough and tumble, could be the makings of this defender. If you can toughen him up a little bit, get him used to it, the pace of the game, and how things work here, I think we've got an absolute gem on our hands here. I'm only saying that I'm putting my scouts kind of hat on here from when I was a scout previously. But from what I've seen from the eyeball test, as I said, excellent on the ball, composed, able to bring the ball out. Timing of the tackle is superb. He's got everything that you need to build, as a good defender. And, I think if we look back at his appearances as well, as I mentioned, so broke into the team at like 16 years of age, 16, 17. First season, made 26 appearances, scoring 2 goals. The next season, when he was 18, he made 40 appearances, scoring 3 goals. And then last season, he at 19 years of age, or he just turned 19 in April, he made 34 appearances and scored 1 goal. So, he's very much, in the Casimapa team week in, week out. He's a first team pick. And, we've been down this road before with sort of Turkish centre-backs at Aston Villa. For those of you who remember Alpay from years and years gone by, I mean, that guy was a bit of a nutcase, to be fair, a bit of a loose cannon, but he was quite a good defender. I remember him doing really, really well in the 2002 World Cup and getting in the team of the tournament as well. And, he sort of fell out with the Villa fans, obviously fell out with the England fans after his shenanigans with sort of David Beckham and sort of goading him after, was it a penalty miss against Turkey or something, I remember? And then it was sort of coming back to Villa. I think he scored on his comeback game and then sort of shushed the Villa fans because obviously everyone was giving him stick for what he did, against David Beckham. But yeah, that's a bit of a blast from the past. And, he was a character. He was good with Ollie Melberg in that first season. They were together, quite solid. And, Ozcan is probably of a similar kind of ilk in terms of that physicality. I'm not saying he's going to be kind of a loose cannon like Alpay was, because Alpay got quite a few red cards here and there. Ozcan seems much more sort of measured and assured, and I think we've got him at a really good age as well, that Unai Emery can get into him and get him to, really mould into maybe a long-term kind of Pau Torres, Tyrone Mings replacement perhaps. But I do very much see Ozcan being ready for the first team. I think he will play pre-season for us as well. I think we'll assess him along the way. And if we do bring in another centre back in as like cover, for example, then I think maybe we'll look to loan him out probably late in the window to someone like Hull City, is my idea. But I think we'll see a lot of him in the pre-season. I think he'll go on the tour, and he just looks ready. I mean, if we look at the other kind of 19-year-olds in the Villa sort of youth team, we've got TJ Carroll, who's just signed a professional contract even. But, I said that Yasin Ozcan is miles ahead of someone like that in terms of being like Premier League ready, given that he's had 100 appearances already at 19 years of age in the first team at Casimapa in a tough league like Turkish Super League. So for me, he is ready to rock and roll. I think he could step into our environment, and I think he's going to be hugely impressive. I really do. He's obviously going to need time. He will make mistakes. He is young, obviously get used to a new surrounding, a new kind of pressure. But I think this one is one player that is definitely ready, if called upon, to play in the first team, especially in this pre-season. And then, as I said, if we sign a centre-back, which I do expect us to do, because obviously we sent back to Sassi, we probably need a right-footed centre-back. Ozcan is left-footed, and we've obviously got Mings and Power there at the moment, so he'll be kind of third choice on that side. Obviously, Courtney Hawes has gone, who was that left-footed defender, even though he never really played for us. Obviously, got Winston Bogard there, but Lamar Bogard as well, who can fill in at centre-back as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ozcan. But I very much see a move for him late in the window on loan to Hull City happening, but that's just my thoughts. And moving on to the guy in the picture below, Zepi Redmond, a guy who's just come back off winning the under-19s European trophy with Holland, impressively beating Spain in the final. Obviously, Zepi Redmond did actually get on the pitch in that game for some reason, not sure why, even though he scored 2 goals against England in the semi-final. Yeah, I think it was a semi-final, and 2 really good goals as well. If you go back and look at those, the first one I think I mentioned in my shorts that it was very much like a Thierry Henry type goal. I think Luke Robinson talked about this as well on his podcast. But using the overlapping fullback as a decoy, cutting inside, and then placing the ball in the bottom corner superbly. And he is a player who can play on the wings as well. He's not just an out-and-out forward. He can play from the right-hand side, and he does pull into those spaces really well. And you can see that's probably where he has played a lot of his football, is out wide. But he's also been used as that central striker as well, because he's got good power. You know, he can hold up the ball, bring people into play. His second goal against England was reminiscent of Christian Benteke. Ball played into him, edge of the 6-yard box. He does that little body swerve just to get a yard, shifts the ball and smashes it past the keeper. And, that was very much a Christian Benteke type goal. I remember that Benteke scoring a goal like that against, I think it was QPR or West Brom. Not sure, whether he did a nice little body swerve to beat the defender and then fires it in. Very much similar. But Redmond looks like he's probably not as ready as Yasin Ozcan. He's only got 4 appearances last season for Feyenoord, 2 starts, 2 off the bench, 2 Champions League appearances as well. He started the game against AC Milan, played 64 minutes there, and he came on for the last 15 minutes against Inter Milan in the Champions League as well. So he is a player of huge potential. And, again, you've probably got to see, compare him up against the other 19-year-olds that we've got, the Ben Brogios, Rory Wilson, and those types of players. I think Redmond is probably, levels above those two. Do I see him challenging for the first team? Probably not. I do see him bedding into the under-21s. Maybe even a loan move for him if we can get in a striker, because obviously we need someone to give competition to Watkins. I don't think Zepi Redmond is going to be competition. He's 19 years of age. He's the same age as Jhon Duran when we signed Jhon Duran at 19. So similar kind of profile, similar kind of physique in terms of the build of Jhon Duran as well. Could he be our diamond in the rough? Basically, he looks very raw, and there are parts of his game that need improving. But again, I think we've got him at a great age, and I think we can definitely work with him. Whether he's going to be ready, again, I'd like to see him in the pre-season, getting a chance, or maybe on the US tour, Walsall. I think we've got Roma at the end of the pre-season friendly list as well. But he's arrived on a free transfer. He's I think he's just under 6 foot tall. As well, but his career record, in all the youth leagues as well, is basically 105 appearances, 33 goals. But a lot of those appearances have been from the wing, so he's not been an out-and-out striker all the time. Again, reminiscent of Thierry Henry, started off as very much as a right winger and then moved into a centre forward role. Redmond has been shifted into a striker role only recently, and has done well in that position. And that's probably where his position is going to be long term. And I think Unai Emery wants to work really closely with him. So I do see that he's going to be a very, very interesting player for us. And again, I'd like to see him stay, but I will totally get the fact that if a loan offer comes in and we've bought a striker that's going to give competition to Ollie, that maybe we can loan him out and, get him some Championship or League One experience under his belt. But I would really be interested to follow his progress and how he gets on, because I do think he's one for the future and he's got huge potential. Both of these players have got huge potential. We've just signed 2 of Europe's hottest 19-year-olds, and I can't wait to see how they get on. I mean, huge potential on both of them. Ozcan probably more ready than Redmond. But let's see. But guys, let me know your thoughts on these guys. What do you think about Ozcan? Would you like to see him stay, fight for a place at Villa? Do you want to see him get loaned out and get some experience in the Championship, perhaps? Do you think they should both be on the US tour as well? I think they both will be. But it all depends on what kind of business that we do between now and start of the season, end of the transfer window. But if we do business, I can see both of these guys leaving on loan and progressing their young, bright careers, in the Championship or below. But I'd be very much interested to keep an eye on both of these, because they both look like superb potential players for Villa. But guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to drive the channel up now. And I'll be back at you very soon with some more content, hopefully some more transfer news, more confirmed signings, hopefully. But let me know your thoughts on Yasin Ozcan, and let me know your thoughts on Zepi Redmond. How buzzing are you about these two signings? Two absolute ballers. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye for now.